So welcome to Pleasant Valley. This is going to be my beginner's guide to H1Z1. It's a basic loot run. The ideal playstyle at the beginning for me is just crafting a bow and a satchel by tearing apart your shirt and pants, which is pretty basic, and then finding a low-key, if you will, looting location to grab all the things you really need to start, which for me is a base and a location to stash things, because when you begin in H1Z1 you usually don't have a lot of carrying space. So right here I found the location. It's DeSoto truck stop. Some of you guys might be familiar with this location. It's pretty low key. I mean, it is a high pop server that I'm doing this on, but I didn't run into any people during this whole process. It took me about 30 minutes of in-game time to get to the position that I felt comfortable to push forward to the playstyle that I like to be partaking in when I play these types of games, which is just having a location to stash things and some backup weapons and ammunition, so when you die it's not as brutal and you have an opportunity to maybe get back to the location and get some of your things back. So from this early loot run, I was actually lucky enough to get scrap metal and a piece of sheet metal, which is going to allow me to make a shovel, which we're going to use for a hiding hole, which is going to be our first stash. So to craft the hand shovel, it's just one metal sheet and one wood stick. Now unfortunately for me, when I was doing this, it was dark out, so it was hard to position the hole and find a location that I would remember. But usually you just use a place like a tree or a rock or something, so that it's easy to find the loot. So with this location, I used I think it was a player built base on the top of this hill. There's also a rock behind me to my right, which I used to remember where I stashed this. And as you can see from the loot room, we have a decent amount of things, but I was getting very close to being full on my carrying capacity, which isn't an issue now. There's always trying to sneak up, but the audio cut out, so we'll deal with him. Headshot, not quite. And then we'll get back to the soda and see what we can find in the town. We're still looking for scrap metal because our next step is making a hatchet so that we can get to some trees, make some wood planks, and build a small shack. A door for that shack, and then hopefully find some more sheet metal so we can get another hiding hole in that shack so it's more secure. Now when looting, cars usually contain weapon repair kits, scrap metal, and metal sheets. Houses have a chance to have bullets, weapons, clothing, food, water, so they're always important to check out. Dumpsters as well are extremely important to check out because you can find spools of twine. Spools of twine are used to make a better wooden bow and a larger backpack. Now I found some bullets, a machete, so my first melee weapon. The best melee weapon in my opinion is the combat knife. And I'm pretty sure I found one in the next house that I go in, which is really convenient. Yeah, there it is. So there's some more ammo. No guns though when I was doing these runs. But I wasn't really going for guns. I'm trying to get my base built, so what I really need is scrap metal, and I did find that. So as I said, the first thing I'm going to craft is a makeshift hatchet. Then I'm going to get to my lumberjack steeds, and I'm going to start chopping down as many trees as I can to get all the wood planks, and then collect some wood sticks so I can build my small shack with a door. Now I think I've ran into only a couple wolves, but wildlife sometimes are more dangerous than zombies in this game, especially bears. So it's key to try and find a melee weapon. A bow is always good because you can get as much ammo as you need from picking up sticks, but sometimes it's just easier using a weapon to deal with the situations. So like I said, lumberjack time. It didn't take that long to get all these trees cut down, but it is kind of dangerous because of the amount of noise it makes. If you want to be really safe, you would go further away from a loot location like DeSoto because of the amount of people that might be coming through. But as I said, I didn't run into anyone during this whole process. So craft your planks, and as I said before, be careful. Deal with zombies, melee or bowed. Like I said, I prefer the combat nature. It's just so efficient. It's daytime now. Like I said, it took a little bit, but it was only half an hour to get the whole thing done. But it's much easier to find my stash location in daytime than it was at night. And as you can see, we've got a decent amount of things from only 2 runs through DeSoto, and we almost have enough stuff to build the basic shack and the door. Now it took a couple runs back and forth from the stash spot because you can't hold enough wood planks to craft the shack or the door. The basic shack takes 10 wood sticks, 20 wood planks. So yeah, you definitely can't hold that unless you have a decent backpack. The shack, however, when you craft it, you can hold with a regular satchel. Now I think at this point, I was dehydrated and hungry, so I decided to kill Bambi and grab some berries. Take some meat for later. So as I was saying at the beginning, this is really just the steps that I take to get to a position that I feel comfortable playing this game, and it kind of takes away the rage quit need. When I die, it's not as serious, it's not as upsetting, because I always have a place to come back to with things that I've stashed, which is generally secure. My personal base in this game is not the basic shack, but the basic shack honestly does too. We've got our door, and we're basically almost done. Now outside of finding a low-key loot location so you don't run into people, the other things you really want to do is maintain food and water. So you can either build yourself a dew collector, which I don't really like at this moment because you can't fill up too many bottles, and it kind of shows people where your base is because it just stands out, the fluorescent blue. But you can usually find a water tower or a pond or some form of water that you can walk to and just make regular runs to keep hydrated. And like I said, when you have the stash, then you can just stash and stock up on these things. But that's really it. That's really how I start the game. It's how I like to start the game, is having a location to stash things and all my amenities, if you will, my hydration and my food taken care of. So now we're safe, which is something that doesn't happen too often in this game with all the people who like to get on site. So I'm going to cook up some food. I'm actually going to have to eat these last couple of berries because I don't have any water. That was the one step that I didn't do during this whole process. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. In the next video I'm going to be showing my current base and favorite looting location.